Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I would like to offer the elemental energy sign, or elemental energy reading for water, which covers the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And as I work with elemental energies a little bit easier than I do the zodiac. I'm still working on that. I might be working a little bit more directly with that here shortly, but not just yet. I work with the elements. So if you have high water energy in your zodiac charts, or you're a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, this reading is specifically for you. But even if you listen to it and you're not one of those signs, I'm sure you'll get something out of it. As these readings are for a general group, take what works for you, leave the rest. It's for someone else to hear. I work week by week with these particular readings, and there's 4.5-ish weeks in June, so I'll just go ahead and do a 5-week reading. I read a guide or guardian per week, a message from source, and then a lesson or a challenge from the tarot. And that all depends on what card comes up. So we'll get started. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using today, they're linked in the description box below. If you enjoy these types of readings or videos and you want to keep up with me, please hit that subscribe button. And I will get started with the first card. We have the Royal Blue and Gold Dragon. Strengthen you to stand in your power with wisdom, awaken your own majesty, wear your cloak of power with pride. So this first week of June is really saying step into your power water energy, and this is really about understanding that you're not just a bit more emotional than the other elemental energies. This is saying your power and your abilities come from your access to your emotions, and that also carries forward into how you interact and work with others. It's not just on a logical or a clinical way. You work with a more emotional state, and the Royal Blue and Gold Dragon is here to say that's actually a very important, very powerful way of interacting with people. And it's part of the reason that you came into the world at this time, is so that you can understand another person at a emotional, which also leads to spiritual level, more so than some of the other energies. So really work with stepping into that power and your authority, holding on to those skills this first week. Your message from Source is your star being healing codes. Important information: wounds are healing and recharging. So as you're working with this energy of stepping into your authority, stepping into your power, you're also bringing in more information, more healing knowledge. Your star beings being your galactic guides and guardians, and if you haven't worked with them yet, this might be a good week to start tapping into that energy. With this type of energy, you're also, as you're doing these type of things, you're bringing in light, you're bringing in more energy, more positive healing energy, which is recharging you, but it's also allowing other people to feel that radiation of peace and joy. So really allow yourself to have that feeling. Go out in the moonlight if you can. The full moon's coming up the first part of the month. Be out in the sunlight, because that's how you can really speed up those downloads so that they kick in a little bit quicker. And they may not be conscious. You may not be consciously aware of any of this. It's going to work on a subconscious and spiritual level, but you may become aware of it as they come through. So just be heads up for that. Let's look at your lesson or challenge from the tarot. It is the Six of Chalices. So you're going to want to step away and observe. You're not going to want to interact, is what this card is saying. And that's not a bad thing, but that's not why you're here. This first week is really about a little bit more interaction, taking time for self-care, but also being willing to go out and connect. This card is saying don't just, pull yourself off to the side with one friend and be, ooh, what are they doing? They shouldn't be doing that. No. Don't isolate yourself in the corner. This card is really talking about stepping out emotionally and mentally, because you are a water sign. You are water, and chalices are the water of the zodiac. So being able to step away, the lesson is being able to step out and be more open with your emotions and your energy is kind of what the lesson or challenge for this first week is. So let's look at the second week of June for water. And of course the cards don't want to talk today. That's interesting. There we go. And your second week guide or guardian is the green gold dragon from Sirius. You're really working with some galactic energy this month, so far anyway. Brings universal knowledge to your spiritual pathway. Learn about spiritual technology. Be a transmitter of sacred knowledge. So the first week, you're stepping more into your authority, into who you are, your soul's current purpose, because your soul's purpose will shift a little bit how it manifests in your life. So your first week was really about being more open and being willing to stand in your unique powers as a water energy. The second week is, now that you're standing more in that, be more open with sharing it. So if people come up and start to, discuss spiritual topics or ask you questions that are a little bit outside of like a work situation, it's because they can feel that you have knowledge beyond whatever your job is. And so the green gold dragon from Sirius is coming in to say, we're bringing in galactic energy. Let me work with you so that you understand how to share it with others. So you're going to be a little bit of a teacher the second week, so what it's looking like so far. Let's see what your message from Spirit says, or from Source God, Divine Energy. It's however you see the creative heart of the universe. And we have Soul Star activation, fulfilling soul contracts and remembering who you are. So your Soul Star sits, depending on who you talk to, 12 inches to 24 inches above your crown. So it's like up outside of your main body. And the Soul Star chakra works with accessing your higher self, which is not your holy guardian angel, which is not your higher self, two different entities here. You're also working with tapping into the Akashic records. The Soul Star, you're fulfilling your soul contracts. Well, you don't know what your contract is if you can't access the Akashic records. I mean, you probably could, just makes it easier, speeds things up a little bit. And remembering who you are. So the first week was stepping into your power, and the second week you're working with sharing the universal knowledge, sharing the knowledge that you have gained outside of your work. And they're specifically saying work for some reason. In the Soul Star activation, if you've never worked with it, picture a violet Merkaba, which is this little guy up here, this star. It's a generally 12-pointed star. And focus on that floating above your crown chakra and your causal chakra, which is right behind it. It's above that. And it, like I said, 12 to 24 inches is where I've learned it. Other people have different placements for it. So work with what your body's comfortable with is what I have found is best, because the chakra is yours. It's not going to be what someone else says. But work with the image of a violet Merkaba, that 12-pointed star. If you really are trying to access, tap into, and activate that, it would be advisable, just suggestion, to work with Archangel Metatron, as he is the guide of ascension for humanity, and that's kind of his domain, is that area, these upper out-of-body chakras. But you're working with that green gold dragon, so having him come in as well is two ways to really bring this energy up. You're elevating into a higher frequency. And the way the world's going here lately is we're shifting out of an old paradigm, an old way of viewing things, an old yuga cycle if you're into Hinduism, and we're moving into a new one. And so that's part of this shift that's occurring, this elevation of knowledge, elevation of spiritual frequency. And so work with that energy, and the Soul Star is going to help you activate to a higher level as well. And let's see what your lesson or challenge from the tarot is. It is, life lesson card. It is a major arcana of the Hierophant, number 9. This is someone who holds wisdom and tends to want to pull away. They make you come to them. A Hierophant does, because they have the knowledge, you have the need. They're not going to go seeking you. You have to seek them out. And so what they're saying for the lesson for this second week is seek out somebody who has the knowledge that you're looking for. If it's somebody who reads tarot, see if you can, if they're doing a course. If it's reading auras, find someone who's doing an aura course. If it's something with business, find someone who's in that niche, who's teaching or willing to take on an apprentice or something like that. But it's really about seeking out the knowledge. You have the green gold dragon coming in the second week, bringing knowledge and helping you express what you already know. Your message from source is activating a new frequency, a higher frequency of chakra, and your challenge is seeking out. Be willing to seek out someone who knows more than you do, because let me just tell you, after 20 years of doing this, it doesn't matter how much you read, study, practice, there's always more to learn, so never forget that. Your third week's guide or guardian is an air dragon, helps you rise above earthly matters, communicates honestly, brings inspiration and hope, see life from a higher perspective. So, as we've been going through this month, you have stood in your power in the moment. You're ascending into a new frequency, but you're also teaching others, whether it's directly or indirectly, how to do the same thing. This third week is really about, now you're taking the emotional part, but you're elevating it also with an intellectual part. Air dragons help you rise above earthly things, the day-to-day, but they do it in a way that's not just emotional. They tap into your logic and your reason. So you're working with this higher frequency of knowledge, bringing the subconscious, the intuitive, the things that you just kind of know without knowing, into a more physical, solid form, allowing you to, express these things a little bit more clearly. And that includes spiritual stuff. It could be work related as well. Air dragons are not known for, or air energy is not known for being highly relationship oriented. That's more of a water thing. Mainly they work with logic and reason, and so this is a way to bring your spiritual thoughts in and translate them into something a little bit easier to understand for other people who are new to the path. So, your message from source is the Emerald Tablet activation, cosmic ordering, divine alchemy, and conscious manifesting. So as the air dragon is helping you translate spiritual downloads into something that's easier for others to understand, the message from source is you are here to create changes, whether you want to or not. You kind of agreed to that before you came in. That's why you're under the signs of water. We are kind of movers and shakers. We always wanted, whether we want to or not, we're here to help things change. Each element has their own energy. Fire is to get things started or to clear out the, unnecessary. Earth is to anchor and ground and stabilize. Air is to bring logic and reason in. Water keeps things moving, looks at things from a different perspective. Water never can be truly stopped, even when it's dammed up. It will find an alternative path, and sometimes that can be destructive. But the Emerald Tablet is saying you're working through a lot of these processes. You've done a lot of the base work, and now it's time to transmute. You're changing. You're changing the spiritual stuff into more everyday language. You're changing yourself from concerned with the day-to-day into someone who's concerned more with spiritual growth, spiritual activation, and transmutation, conscious manifesting. These are things where we get into our subconscious mind and figure out why we do what we do, because that's always a trick, and then set better intentions. We always set, I want to make $10,000 in the next 4 months. Okay, great intention. But what else could you be using your intention for? Like, creating on this plane is surprisingly not as difficult as some of us like to make it out to be. A lot of it is when you're setting those higher spiritual goals. I want to learn and build a connection with a fill-in-the-blank angel. That sets you up for an entirely different set of intentions, and that really does work with your spiritual energy. Setting the goals or intentions to start meditating more, being more focused in your day-to-day life, being more present in the now. These are ways to be more conscious with your intention setting. And when you're doing that, the other manifesting that you're working on, because you are bringing your energy back into the now moment, becomes a little bit simpler. Doesn't guarantee anything. I don't make guarantees, but it does bring it more into an easier flow state, and then you can see it a little bit more clearly. The Abraham Hicks works are really good, especially the vortex discussions that they have are really good about talking about getting yourself into that now, getting yourself into the moment allows you to see more clearly what you're manifesting. But the Emerald Tablet is also about manifesting in the physical, but manifesting in the spiritual as well, so you're working on multiple layers of consciousness. So let's look at your lesson or challenge from the tarot. It is the King of Swords. I'll do some editing here. Or censoring, whatever you want to call it. So the King of Swords is the king of air. We're working with air of a dominant nature. The king is showing in this card in particular how he has conquered the lower knowledges and he has succeeded beyond. And then there's the basically the person who's almost worshiping at his feet. And so there's this a little bit of a push-pull of ego, this consciousnness of, I have succeeded, I have done all these things, look at how great I am, oh, fawn and bow down to me. You're about to start over, because when you reach the king point, you're ready to start over at the next level again, which is higher frequency, but you're still starting over. And so the lesson or the challenge is, don't allow that egoic state of, look at how much I've done, look at how smart I am, any of that, to get in the way of your spiritual growth. It may happen. Just be aware that your ego is a tool. It's not to be not to control you. You're supposed to be controlling it, and that takes time. But that's what the lesson or the challenge is as you're growing, you're working with this air energy, you're transmuting and you're building and growing. There is the risk of becoming egocentric in that state, and the ego will slow down your progress spiritually in most cases. So just be aware of that. Your fourth week is Thor's red, black, and gold dragon. 3 colors? Okay. Protects you in times of change, a time of rapid transition and transformation. Relax, you are safe. This is a guardian dragon. As you've been growing here through this month, you've been growing, and it may feel almost like you're growing outside of your comfort zone or your control. You're not. You're growing within your soul's guidance. You're growing within your spiritual support team's guidance and abilities. And sometimes you just need that little bit more of a reminder that you're being taken care of. And that's what Thor's red, black, and gold dragon can do, is it can come in to just be like, dude, I'm with you on this. We got this. You don't have to worry about those lower energies. I'll handle them. Keep your focus where you're headed, not behind you where they're at, because they're back there for a reason. But it's really about, as you're growing and as you're shifting, and this month can be a little unstable is what they're saying. They're also saying that with the growth that is possible this month, it may feel like you're like I said, growing outside of your normal control. You're not. It's within the boundaries of your soul's guidance. The divine's with you. It just may be to your egoic conscious mind, I don't know what's happening, I'm going too fast. You're not. So during this fourth week is the reminder of, you're safe, you're protected. Yes, things are moving quickly, but you can handle this. Take a deep breath and keep on moving. Your message from Source is the Sword of Light, divine protection, cutting cords, and breakthrough energy. So this fourth week is dealing with those fears, those anxieties, and it may be friends or family members, people in your circle that are trying to pull you back because you're going, in their minds, you're going somewhere dangerous. You're not. Unless you're going down, dark magic paths, then I recommend turning around. But if you're working on spiritual ascension, you're working on spiritual growth, it may come a point when you have to just kind of clear out your energy field, cut those cords, cut those ties. It doesn't mean that you're hating that person. It doesn't mean you're taking them out of your life. You are cutting off an energetic connection. So you can still hear them over here making noise, but you're not influenced by their energy anymore. And sometimes you have to take a break from a person, like stepping away from them, not answering a phone call here and there, just so that you can reset that boundary. You're in control of your life, water energy. This is your life. It's not someone else's. You can't live theirs. They can't live yours. And the message this fourth week is working with fears, allowing those fears to kind of be cut away, allowing the red, black, and gold dragon to step up and kind of be your guardian during this time. And you can call on these divine guardians anytime you want, but this fourth week they're really coming forward because it looks like you're going to have some fear that you're working through of the growth pattern, because you're kind of growing fast this month is what it's looking like. But that's, we sometimes we'll jump up and then we'll plateau for a long period of time, and then we'll jump up again, or it can be a plateau and then just a slow grade again. It all depends, but this month looks like there's going to be a little bit of a leap in the spiritual world. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Seven of Chalices. They're saying that don't become complacent. That's part of that fear, is you are scared that if you step out of your circle, your world's going to change and you're not going to like it. Well, it is going to change and you might have to readjust. But this is like telling you to look in the mirror. Do you like where you're at in this moment? Is there stuff that you would like to change? That's what you've been given the opportunity to do. And you're working through these fears. You're cutting away the stuff that's not working, because when you look in the mirror and you say, if only I was this, things would be better. Well, how do you get to that? What do you have to clear out to get to that point? Is it, I want to lose, if I only lost 10 pounds, I'd feel better. What do you need to cut out of your life to make that a better option? It doesn't mean drastic. It could be something, instead of having ice cream every night, you reduce it down to you only have it twice a week. Instead of coming home, crashing on the couch and watching movies after dinner, and you go for a walk. Just a short one. You don't have to go like hiking mountains. But little things like that, just little shifts, can give you more of access to the goal. And what this card is saying for your lesson or challenge is, incomplacency is what's going to stop you. It's going to trigger those fears. When you overcome those fears, you can step beyond complacency and really activate some interesting growth. I won't say fast or slow, but it definitely becomes interesting when you step away from your fears. That's how I started doing YouTube and Odyssey. That's why I started my online stuff, is I had to overcome a lot of fears. It's not easy, but it is doable. And I say that to a lot of people. I know a lot of people who are struggling with, what if? In some ways, what if is great. Other ways, I want to throw that word out the window. You're working through fears. The what ifs can give you guidance, but they can also hold you back. When you ask what if to a situation, side note here, examine the answer. Now, is the what if everything has a chainsaw, world's going to end if I quit my job tomorrow and all HE double hockey sticks is going to break loose? Or is, what if I add 15 minutes to my meditation? What if I reduce my ice cream consumption? Sorry, I love ice cream, so I'm using that. What if I add 15 minutes to my walk? Those kind of what ifs are beneficial. But when you ask the what if I do this and then this person's mad at me? Well, that's a worthless what if. What are you doing? What if I start an online business in the evenings? I have my day job, but I'm doing this 2 nights a week. What would happen? Then you look at the opportunities there. There's ways to always grow, but the first step is understanding that there's fear, and sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone to get to that, to that growth. The fear is there to give you a reminder to, check in, make sure you're still wanting to do this, but it still means you have movement to go through. Just something to think about. So we'll end this June reading on the 5th week with the Rose Pink Dragon. Prepares your heart to connect with the higher facets of the cosmic heart. Open your heart to warm-hearted love and diamond light. Connect with the heart love of the universe. So you're working, as you've been growing through this month, you've been working through some spiritual growth, some ascending, kind of working through some fears that 4th week especially. And what is coming out on the other side is you're going to reach a new higher ability to tap into the heart of the Creator. When you do that, when you overcome those fears, you're still going to have a little bit of nervousness. There's still going to be a little bit of a shakeup. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. But the result of working through those fears is a new form of peace. And the Rose Pink Dragon can help you understand that. So when you're struggling through, you're dealing with the self-doubt, you're dealing with the, oh, other people are gonna think. You kind of have to get to a point where you don't care what other people think. But the rose pink dragon will help you work through that and help you understand that what they think is what they think. They're always going to think something. You're always going to have enemies. You're always going to have the people who question you. You're always going to have those people that think you're, completely off your rocker for wandering down a spiritual path. And that's okay. That's where they're at in life. That's their decisions. You also have probably more people, if you really look, who are supporting you, who are silently sometimes cheering you from the sidelines. They want to see you succeed because they see that you're putting your heart into this. And the rose pink dragon is saying, listen to your heart, listen to the heart of the creator. And the rose pink dragon can help you hear the heart of the creator a little bit easier. Sometimes when you get into your head too much, you forget that this machine, this computer chip up here, only hears what you can input into it. It's the heart that's creative. It's the spirit that's creative. The mind is a computer. So just something to think about. Next we have from your message from source is Earth Star activation, anchoring grounded action and Isis energy. Not really sure why the star's above the head, because the Earth Star chakra is below your feet. And with the where'd it go? Soul Star in the second week, you're activating up. You're really building this energy force up so that you can, access those higher energies. The Earth Star at the end of the month, you're tapping into your heart. You're bringing yourself into a more balanced state. You've worked through the fears and anxieties, so you're coming more into a peace. The Earth Star chakra is as you reach up and you're connecting into these higher frequencies, remember to ground, because your root chakra is the base of the spine, the base of the tailbone, the perineum, however you want to look at that. With the Earth Star, it's below your feet, 6 to 12 inches. Some people say further. I usually find it 6 to 12 inches below my feet. And it's a way for you to anchor into a little bit more balanced grounding state. As you go up in energy, you're still here. You still are living on this planet. You need to remember to ground. Your root chakra is great for most grounding, but as you're ascending with some of these higher out-of-body chakras, the Earth Star has a better capability of holding you here, allowing the growth, but keeping you anchored. So work with your root and Earth Star, which again is 6 to 12 inches below your feet. And it allows you to actually access the heart of Gaia, the heart of the planet, a little bit easier as well. So you're really working on grounding this energy, that you're reaching up, but you're bringing it in and you're anchoring it. So something to work on this last week is, as you're feeling more at peace, you're working with the rose pink dragon. You're also grounding and anchoring this higher frequency into your body and into the world around you. And that's going to bring in more light to the planet, which is kind of why we're here. Your lesson or challenge for this 5th week is number 9, 1x, the Hermit. I'm horrible with Roman numerals. The Hermit is a little bit more like the Hierophant, except the Hierophant wants you to come. They have knowledge to share. The Hermit is, get away from me, I don't want to deal with people. And there is this pulling away that occurs when you go through these growth periods and you overcome some of those fears and anxieties. Part of what you want to do as you're stepping over that threshold and you're recovering from that is to pull away completely. You want to shut out the world. You just want to live in your bubble because your perception of the world has shifted. It happens. And that makes you want to pull away, to just separate yourself completely. And the lesson or the challenge is, even though that's your urge, don't cut yourself off entirely. If you're someone who goes social most of the time, then you go through some of this awakening stuff and suddenly you cut everybody off. Not a good thing. The Hermit is saying, even though you want to, and you will need to pull back a little bit, it doesn't mean you have to stop all interaction, doesn't mean you have to stop all socializing. So finding that balance of, I need the time to recover, but you still want to be out active, is where we're at for this the lesson or the challenge. The challenge is finding that balance of the proper socialization without exhausting yourself. So hopefully the message has resonated for you guys. Sorry about the little side tangent there. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. Subscribe if you want to keep up with me as I go live and drop videos. If you have any comments, suggestions, even criticisms, please drop them in the comment section below. All I ask is that they be respectful. I think we all can work with, needing more respect in our lives. So with that, I will let you guys go. Have an awesome month of June, and I will see you in a future video.